I thought the hardest myth to give up was chasing tone. You know, such a Ringo Starr moment. Your tone isn't as important as the tone that the song needs. But in truth, the hardest myth to let go of, that there is something magical, mystical, spiritual that sets a guitar apart from the others in a room full of shapes and sizes and colors and possibilities, in a room with different scales and different pickups and different positions and differences that can't be described. That there is something of a divine spark in the wood and the electronics that somehow makes it exist on a plane other than the one that exists between my hands, other than the one of sight and sound and touch and feel, and yes, according to my dog taste, that there is something beyond about it. This week, we take a look at the hardest myth to break. Mojo. It started off with a simple introduction. All I wanted to do was tell you about this guitar. Good morning. I thought I might introduce you to Jimini this morning. This is my number one of all the guitars in the room, and I've said that before, and a lot of people wonder why, and they think it might be because of some special mojo. And it is true. It does have some great sound, and there are some wonderful things that went right by design, and then some wonderful things that went right by accident, and then there are some wonderful things that I just happened to get right. This is one of the first guitars that I started modding, and I'm going to go tail to tip to kind of introduce you. And you might notice, you can hear a little bit of tone, and that's because it is on. And it has no grounding problem, unlike a lot of other guitars in the room, which is one of the reasons why it is a number one. And the reason that that's such a rare thing is, if you'll notice, for a Mini, it has an extra tone knob. And that's because it does have the standard Strat wiring. And this is one of the few guitars where I actually got the spacing right on the tone knobs so they don't rub up against each other or one jut out from another. I know it looks different than a Strat because they're so much closer together, but that's because of the room and the cavity, the physical size of this thing. But it does still have that tone circuit on the neck pickup and middle pickup with nothing that adjusts the tail but the volume. And that, again, is by design. Now, the pickups in it are actually Tone Rider Safari Alnico 3, which were the original pickups, as I understand it, that Leo used when he first started putting guitars together. And I just really like the spankiness of them. I really think they sound great clean. And if you throw a little bit of dirt on them, they sound good too. And of course, you can overdrive them. Just a hint of drive and some reverb. Now I can do that all night, so I probably need to quit. But this is a very expressive guitar, and the volume and the tone knobs really contribute a lot to that. The bridge is the standard stock Squier Mini Bridge. Now, the other thing that you may have noticed, and not a lot of people do, but this is actually a long arm or actuator. I'm not real sure what the term is, but the switch is very long handled, so to speak. And that is purely an accident. When I swapped the switch out for a heavy duty switch, the plastic tip that I had in my bin, I got mixed up. And so it wouldn't stay on. It wouldn't go on all the way because it was manufactured for a different switch. So me being me, rather than look for the right one, I just grabbed some Gorilla Glue and ended up with a switch that's just a little bit longer than the other switches. And the advantage to that is I really can get to it a lot. While I'm playing, and given that I rest my hand position here, that just works out really well for me. And so that's one of those accidental wonderful things. Now, the other thing that was not accidental that I like about this is my number one guitar, my very first guitar actually, was a Squier Bullet. It was a short, smaller sized body that was not cut for comfort, so to speak. Didn't have the belly cut out of it. But anyway, it was a smaller body, and I played that for years. And I think that's one of the reasons why I prefer the look of the Mini to the full sizes. I used to play those 1980s Squier Bullets. But it also had a Telecaster style headstock on the neck. And it was a maple board, 9.5 radius. It was a 25 5-inch scale. So this feels really, really familiar to me. It had a different finish on it. This has that satin finish. And of course, the edges of the fretboard have been rolled, and I've taken care to catch all of the frets, and the frets are in really good shape. But because it has that familiar feel to it that I've been playing since about 1986, that's another advantage to this one. And I don't have anything against the Rosewood or Rosacar or Palfaro or Purple Heart boards that are in the room. The maple just feels right to me, and it's something that I like. My second guitar is the CNZ Audio TL Mini, the little mini Telecaster, and it also has a maple neck. So I think, and it may not make a difference as far as sound goes, but that's something that I really appreciate. The nut is the standard synthetic bone, aka plastic. Now, it has not been altered at all. I didn't really need to. The string trees have been replaced. Those are roller string trees. I don't know that that makes a huge difference, but when I was building this one out early on, this is the one that I probably spent the most money on initially and have since put more in it. And that was one of the things that I went with, is those handy, those really, really nice rollers. The other thing that I did, which seems kind of silly to a lot of people on a Mini, but since it was going to be my main, I mean, if I had to go out and play a gig, or if I knew I was going to spend a day in a studio that I was paying for, this would be the guitar that I would take. And one of the other reasons for that is I put Fender locking tuners on it so that it would be really, really easy to make string changes. That doesn't make a difference as far as the sound goes. I don't think it necessarily even helps with tuning stability. Maybe psychologically it does, but it really does make string changes easier. And as you can see, it's got a little sticker on the end because, well, the nickname for this thing is the Jimini. And the reason is because it can get a particular tone that I like. And so really that's... And that's why it's my number one. Number one in my playlist. Number one in my heart. Anyway. All right, did you catch it? It was all right there. I didn't catch it either the first time through. It really didn't come into focus until I mentioned that C&Z Audio TL Mini, because then it made me look at what they both have in common. They both have the maple neck. They both have a similar scale length, so the frets are similarly spaced. They both have a similar nut width, so the strings are similarly placed. They both have a smaller body. They both have a hard tail. They both are incredibly stable as far as tuning goes. And they both have Tone Rider Alnico 3 pickups. Both of them have been modified extensively, not once or twice, but sometimes 3 times. Both were built out to be my main. Both have a significant investment in not only playing time, but time spent on the bench, time planning about it, and both were actually designed with a bit of psychology in mind. Sure, both of them were easy to name, but most importantly, the small body, the maple neck, they're both so much like the guitar that I played for 30 plus years. But the most important thing, with all that in consideration, is the fact that they both nailed the tones that I was chasing. So do I believe that it's spiritual or mystical or magical? No. But do I believe that there's something different about these guitars that set them apart? Absolutely. May not be Mojo, but it's definitely home. Hope you guys have a great day. Feel free to like, share, subscribe, comment, but most of all, go play. Enjoy. That's for you playing the home game.